Good morning and welcome to News Plus on Viewer Television. I am Deborah Ndukaife. The Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, has said the government will probe the project reports of the suspended national carrier, Nigeria Air and concession of airports. He stated that the government was looking to uncover red flags relating to the projects before a decision is made following the announcement of the suspension on August 31st. Recall that the creation of Nigeria Air had resulted in court cases instituted by domestic airlines against Keyamo's predecessor, Hadi Sirika, over allegations of bypassing aviation regulations and offering an unfair competitive advantage to Ethiopian Airlines to ensure the completion of the national carrier. Also, the airport concession was protested by aviation workers. The unions in the industry filed a lawsuit to stop the concession of the Aminu Kano International Airport, Kano, the Port Harcourt International Airport, Port Harcourt, River State, the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos State, and the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, Federal Capital Territory. And the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, has warned motorists flying Lagos-Badagry Expressway against overloading and speed during the Ember months. Mr. Williams Manga, Badagry Unit Commander of the FRSC, gave the warning at a sensitization program organized for drivers of the Association of Table Water Producers of Nigeria. Manga appealed to pure water drivers to undergo the proper process of acquiring genuine driver's licenses to avoid being arrested on the road. He also urged the drivers to also avoid using expired or fairly used tires on their vehicles, as this could lead to road crash that are totally avoidable. Responding to Mr. Isaac Obadaro, the ATWAP chairman, Badagry Zone, promised that the drivers would comply with all the instructions given to them by the unit commander. And now the governor of Borno State, Umar Zulum, has presented a check of 2 billion naira to the leadership of NLC for the disbursement of interest-free loan to help cushion the impact of subsidy removal on workers in the state. The governor, who was visited by leadership of the State National Labour Congress at the government hospital in Maiduguri, also directed the release of outstanding promotional benefits and a 100% increase of monthly gratuities backlog. He said the payment of promotional benefits should be made to those owed from 2016 to 2020, while that of the year 2021 be disbursed after the recent promotional exams. The governor also allocated 30 for conveying workers to their offices at subsidized rates.
In response to their request, government has also directed that the Ministry of Finance shall ensure implementation of promotional benefits to all staff that were promoted between the year 2016 to April 2020. Other issues were discussed, but inshallah, this is our third meeting. Borno State is willing, the state government is willing to meet with the Nigerian Labour Congress with a view to addressing some of their problems that were not resolved in this particular meeting.
As a palliative to cushion the effect, the hardship of the workers, we requested His Excellency to pay the omission of promotion of 2016, 2017, 2018. It was paid, but there are some omissions which civil servant could not get. We ask His Excellency to look at.
The House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee on Failed Mass Transit Schemes across the country has summoned the Ministers of Finance, Trade and Investment, the Accountant General of the Federation, heads of service, and other stakeholders to appear before the investigative committee. Chairman of the Ad Hoc Committee, Honorable Afam Ogene, made the ruling on Wednesday in Abuja during resumption of the hearing. The failure of mass transit across the country can be attributed to several factors, including poor planning, inadequate funding, and lack of government control. For the Abuja Metro, it was intended to be a mass transportation system that would connect the federal capital city within the context, creating affordable transportation system in the FCT. However, the project failed due to poor planning and inadequate funding. For the sake of finding lasting solutions to the problem, the committee observed that there were key ministries and agencies who failed to appear despite receiving notices from the clerk of the committee 1 week to take off. The committee threatened to invoke sections of the Constitution and Act of Parliament that gives the House the powers to invite any Nigerian or individual domiciled in the country and doing business within.
Industry and investment. They are to appear unfailingly on Tuesday, September 10, 2023 at 11 a.m. Additionally, the clerk of this honorable committee is to invite the managing director of the infrastructure bank to appear on same day, same time, to come with him at the following: the National Association of Road Transport Owners and the Road Transport Employers of Nigeria. They are all summoned to appear before this committee. And let me warn that this invitation is not frivolous. This is an invitation extended to them by the House of Representatives of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Earlier members of the committee interfaced with the Abuja Investment Company Limited and National Union of Road Transporters workers on way to improve mass transportation in the country.
To the root of why it failed.
Yes, sir.
And because it has to be our business.
Absolutely.
Because if you are telling me that you are shareholding and you have a stake in Abuja Urban Mass Transit, you should be able to know what is going on there. State in 2013, 100 units of Yunton buses was acquired, and it was financed through Abuja Mass Transit. We're interested to know what happened to those buses. How much was generated, what is the loss, and how many buses are still in existence? So we provide this information when next they are coming here, if the chairman allows that.
Way forward. Is there any report? Perhaps the 200 were given to you, Abuja Urban, UTR, Sonic. Were you able to actually retrieve any of those buses from this company when they left operation?
Now, AICL is also intervening in reaching out to the private sector, and have identified several private sector, companies to come and intervene in various, sectors of the transport. However, one of the challenges that we are facing is there are no clear, legal and regulatory framework for the urban mass transportation in the FCT. So that has actually made the private sector to be a little bit, wary of intervention. But efforts are still ongoing. AISL, in a bid to intervene, has also commissioned transaction advisors to even advise on, how best to resource the company.
Recall that the House during plenary before adjourning or recess through a resolution of the House passed a motion to investigate reasons why mass transit scheme projects failed woefully. All parts involved are expected to appear before the ad hoc committee on Monday and Tuesday. The Commandant General of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Ahmed Oji, has fulfilled an early promise made to the 7 families of his late officers who were killed by gunmen on their way returning from the burning Gwari area of Kaduna State earlier in January. While paying a condolence visit to the deceased families, the Commandant General vowed to offer automatic employment in the Security and Civil Defense Corps to their next of kin. Speaking on his behalf in Kaduna, the Commandant Kaduna Command, Idris Yahaya, says the welfare of every personnel of the Corps remains paramount to the Corps.
Present to you one of the CG's good deeds by handing over to the families of the deceased family the appointment letters. This is in fulfillment of CG's promise to the family. Though this cannot replace the lives of the loved ones.
Sir, I'm happy. The joy make tears come out from my face because of what civil defense did to me. I can't tell. They try. God bless them. God bless them.
Happy, and I thanks the NSCDS for fulfilling their promises, especially the commandant.
Actually, I am grateful for this appointment. Though me specifically, I did not take the job because I am working already. I gave it to his nephew, and the nephew promised to give some percentage once they start paying him to the children of the deceased. It will go a long way for me as a widow and for the children who lost their father. If he keeps to his promise, it will help.
Furthermore, the Kaduna Corps Commandant warns all perpetrators of railway vandals to shun the act or face the full wrath of the law.
Railway sleepers and tracks are scrapped. Honestly, is committing a very grave offense. And when civil defense, whose mandate is to arrest vandals, catches up with you, NSCDC will not take it lightly with you, will investigate you and prosecute you accordingly.
The Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, on this note, is urging the general public to offer relevant and credible information when necessary to enable the Corps to carry out its duty effectively. Let's go on a quick break, and when we come back, News Plus continues. Stick with us.
Souls came together. Came together. Two souls came together. They're not now.
Tat Fragrance, the new luxury fragrance for men and women.
Before you came round, my heart would never beat.
The story of a charmer and his crush.
Before you came round, I was ready to slow down. Before you came round, I was heading for a small disaster. Before you came round, I was ready to blow me down.
Tat Fragrance, the new luxury fragrance for men and women.
The House of Representatives ad hoc committee set up to investigate crude oil theft and loss of revenue from gas has vowed to unveil the identities of those behind oil theft in the country. Representative Kabir Rurum, chairman of the committee, said this while speaking with the newsmen ahead of its investigative hearing slated for September 7th. He said the oil sector remained the major source of revenue for the country, adding that it was determined that the investigation would not be like the previous ones. According to him, oil and gas are the major areas where the country gets its resources, but the problem of oil theft has continued to go from bad to worse on a daily basis. He said apportioning blame to security agencies would not suffice, adding that stakeholders in the oil sectors should be held responsible, including Chevron, Shell, communities, amongst others. He said the modalities and ways to stop or minimize theft in the oil sector should be suggested by all stakeholders, which was the main purpose of the committee. Lamido Adamawa, His Royal Highness Muhammad Bakindo Aliyu Mustafa, has called on the people of Bajama district of Mayobelwa local government area of Adamawa State to support their new district head to enable him to run the affairs of the traditional council effectively in the overall interest of all and sundry. The royal father made the call during the coronation of the district head, Ibrahim Suberu, at the Mayo Belwa local government secretariat at the weekend. The Lamido Adamawa stressed the need for peace and harmony among people, irrespective of religion or tribal differences. The newly elected district head, Zuberu Obadiah, appreciated Lamido Adamawa and Governor Amadou Umaru Fintiri for seeing him as the trustworthy to head the district of Bajama. He also thanked Senator Binos Yare and the Mayobelwa LGC executive chairman for the outstanding role they played in ensuring due process was followed, which enabled his emergence as the new district head of Bamaja.
In the district, because where there's no peace, there will no development. And the only way we can help the state government to have a conducive environment for development is to maintain peace.
Some of the residents of the community expressed their joy in expressing what they described as a dream come true. They assured the new district head of their maximum cooperation while assuring that he would unite the community and bring about lasting peace.
All the people of Mabala local to cooperate with the newly selected district head, to give him cooperation, maximum cooperation for the running affairs of his district. And it is only by doing that that peace will reign.
Expect good leadership and unity within the chiefdom, because it's been lingering with problems here and there. But since God has endowed us with a good leader today, we expect unity and we expect progress within the district.
Women Affairs and Child Development, in collaboration with the United Nations Population Fund, embarked on a two-way capacity building for coordinators of gender-based violence referral network across the 20 local governments in the state, aimed at reactivating them to stand up to the responsibilities of managing cases of GBV in their locality. The training, according to Gender Desk Office of the Ministry, Mrs. Esther Patrick, who is also the UNFPA project in the state, will also increase awareness and uptake of maternal health and services, as well as gender support of key decision makers to support and advocate for women and girls. About your state correspondent, Awa Hassan, completes the story. Take a look.
Women are longing to be free, no longer in the shadow.
The Bauchi State Ministry of Women Affairs and Child Development is seriously concerned about the issues around gender-based violence and harmful traditional practices. In spite of the government's effort coupled with the support from implementing partners to address GBV in the state over the years, of which successes are being recorded in some areas, still, there is the need for more support from the relevant stakeholders. Gathered here are coordinators of gender-based violence referral network from the 20 local governments of the state, for a 2-day capacity building organized by the ministry in collaboration with the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA.
We didn't have much to communicate with them, but still they were doing their job, because mostly we normally get report from them on what they do. Because of lack of resources, that is why it became very silent. But now with the support of UNFPA, we are now trying to activate them to see how we can start working, treating cases of, managing cases of GBV, because we already have our referral team on ground at the local level, 10 men member who are into GBV cases.
The trainees are expected to cascade down the training when they go back to their various local communities. And as such, there is the need to be acquainted with the health aspect of the gender-based violence. The State Ministry of Health was also part of the training to give their inputs.
For rape, I think usually, it's a capital offense, it's a state case. So, and you can't make a case out of it without medical report. It's one of the first things that you can establish your evidence with. So, for health aspect here, we are trying to equip our service providers, ranging from doctors, nurses, and our other relevant healthcare workers at the facility level to know how best to handle GBV cases.
The Ministries of Women Affairs nationwide are mandated to see how it can report all GBV cases to the national dashboard so as to have a comprehensive data and send to donors to have access and give support to any state that needs. Hence, the need to activate this group.
So by activating this group is to see how we can be able to teach the women how to fill our incidence form, bring it back to the ministry, we compile the data and now post it to the dashboard for any donor to see and give support to Bauchi State.
Some of the participants say they have a lot to take away home from this training.
Well, for these 2 days of training, my takeaway home is to implement what I've learned from the training. That's to reach to communities that are hard to reach and to the people that are not able to get to know this information on the menaces gender-based violence causes in the community.
And I learned a lot. Basically, more especially in the nutritional values, how we will go and inform our people from our communities how to balance their diet.
The training also seeks to develop key messages for gender-based violence, family planning, child marriage, and maternal health, among other objectives. Awol Hassan, Viewer TV News, Bauchi.
Cooperative Assistance for Relief Everywhere and the Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition, with funding from the Netherlands Ministry of Foreign Affairs, has engaged agricultural extension workers from four northern states on a 5-day training of trainers on farmers' fields and business schools, approach under a program known as Catalyzing Strengthened Policy Action for Healthy Diets and Resilience, Cascade. Now, Cascade is a 4-year program implemented across 6 countries of Nigeria: Benin, Mozambique, Kenya, Ethiopia, and Uganda, and in Nigeria. The program aims to strengthen nutrition system that contributes to ending malnutrition for 1.1 million women of reproductive age and children under the age of 5. Awa Hassan from Bauchi tells us more.
The training of trainers on farmer, field, and business school approach for participants from 4 states of the northern Nigeria was organized by Cooperative Assistance for Relief Everywhere, CARE, and the Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition, GAIN, with funding from Netherlands Ministry of Foreign Affairs under the project known as Catalyzing Strengthened Policy Action for Healthy Diet and Resilience, Cascade, which was approved by the federal government of Nigeria. The project manager for Cascade, Isaac Ishaya Audu, while briefing journalists about the aim of the capacity building, says they have a particular interest which specifically targeted at building and empowering women.
So more particularly, we're looking at engaging 1.1 million women of reproductive age through strengthening production system and also mitigating the farmer extension ratio gap, which has been a continuous challenge in country. So the cascade design is actually aimed at adopting market-based solution specifically through private sector linkages in ensuring we complement the farmer extension ratio gap by actually providing community level structures through lead farmers that could be supported with adequate skills and capacities to be able to provide extension services equivalent to what government extension service providers can be able to do.
The President, Association of Deans of Agriculture in Nigerian Universities, ADAN, Professor Ojay, says they were at the occasion to understudy the methodology with the aim of stepping it down into undergraduate curriculum.
We are excited about this development because Farmers Field School, Farmer Field and Business School is a good concept that will develop farmers and make agriculture an enterprise, business-oriented, while the farmers are learning on the job.
The casket project, which is mostly focused on extension workers, is now more human-centered in terms of the components that were added to it.
We have gender, we have nutrition, which is one of the focus of Cascade. We have monitoring and evaluation, and also we have what we call facilitation techniques to make sure that when we are passing on those knowledge and techniques, we take care of ensuring that communities are building capacities, empowerment, improvement are achieved. And this is not just about crops, yield, productivity.
We really focus on empowering the communities and ensuring that their needs are addressed. And then from there we can scale. This program is implemented across 6 countries, and each country has different governance layers. So like for instance, in Nigeria, we have identified policies that are more of national and subnational.
Casket as an intervention is working closely with government actors and identify 3 existing policies, specifically National Policy on Food and Nutrition, National Multisectoral Plan for Action for Food and Nutrition, as well as National Social Protection Policy to leverage on. Awal Hassan, Viewer TV News, Bauchi.
And that's all on News Plus. Many thanks for watching. I am Deborah Ndukaifi. Please stay tuned and enjoy the rest of our programs.